Hi, it's the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your July 2017 general readings. Thank you so much for joining us here today, and welcome to any newcomers who may be with us for the first time. Thank you for your likes, your shares, your subscribes, your feedback, comments, and support. Always welcome. Thank you so very much. Thank you to my regular clients for your consistent updates and how our readings continue to play out in your lives. And just a general thank you to all those of you who keep me so busy with personal one-on-one readings. It's an honor and a pleasure to read for you. If anyone is interested in a personal reading with me and you haven't read with me before, you can click on that about or description button on my YouTube channel's homepage for more information and my email address, which is Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I would be delighted to work with you if you so choose. I do readings full-time 6 days a week, so turnaround time is usually pretty quick. I'm usually able to get back with you pretty quickly and almost always schedule a reading anywhere between a few days, but almost always within a 2-week period of time. So if you're interested, email me and we'll go from there. I do all different kinds of readings. So moving right along, this reading is for the water sign of Scorpio for July 2017. It is a general reading, and there's many of you watching, so of course it's not going to mean the same or resonate the same for everyone who watches. You may find that your rising or your moon sign plays out a little more predictably for you, or watching all three gives you more bits of insight and clarity and gives you as clear and cohesive a picture as possible of the time frame that the reading covers. So try to watch all three if you know them and if you can. So let's get into this. We are doing the beginning of the month generals, and I'm recording these in the last week of June. So I'll be pulling 2 cards for each week, which is 8 cards with an additional 9th card from the bottom of the deck for overall energy and guidance. So the water sign of Scorpio for July 2017. What does Scorpio need to know, need to see for the gorgeous month of July 2017? Okay, Scorpio. Around the first week or so of July, time being somewhat fluid, as I always say, we have 2 major arcana cards, Judgment and the Fool. Around the second week or so, we have Temperance and the 7 of Cups. Around the third week or so, we have the 5 of Wands and the 5 of Swords. And at or towards the end of July 2017, we have the 8 of Wands and the World. 4 major arcana cards, half your reading so far, divine timing and orchestration. And from the bottom of the deck, your overall energy and guidance is the 10 of Wands. I'm actually going to start with your crowning card, the 10 of Wands. Let me look at your elemental energy here. Let's see, we have 1, 2, 3 Wands, 1 sword, 1 cup, and the rest major arcana card. So that's an indication. Wands is fire energy, and it's about creating, manifesting, building, and it can often manifest in career or artistic or creative endeavors, projects. So some of you, this might resonate in the job, work, career path area of your life, or any kind of artistic, creative endeavors or projects. For others of you, you can always apply the same energy to relationship areas too, if it resonates for you more predictably that way. It just depends on who you are and watching. It's going to mean what it needs to mean for those of you watching. I do believe in that. So we're going to start with your crowning card, the 10 of Wands. So Wands is fire energy, fluid suit in tarot. Wands is change, movement, action, power, building, creating, manifesting. 10s represent the end of cycle, the coming full circle or culmination of something, or nearing the end. So the 10 of Wands would represent a burden coming to an end, something that feels like an actual burden. It may not have started out to be a burden. I often see this man as having started off with only 1 or 2 wands, and then over time it's gradually become to feel as if he's carrying a heavy burden. For some of you, this may be a cross you've had to bear from beginning to now, and it is drawing to a close in July 2017, or needs to draw to a close. For some of you, this could be a long-standing challenge, something that you've been putting a lot of work and effort into that's drawing to a close, perhaps in your career path. For some of you, it could be that your job or career path is coming to a close. You may be looking at retirement or transitioning into something else. For some of you, a smaller portion of you, this is a personal matter. I feel like for some of you, what's coming to an end or needing to come to an end is is a cycle of arguing with someone, or it could be within a specific personal relationship, the nature of which is going to vary depending on who you are. It could be with a mate, a spouse, a best friend. This could be a situation within a family dynamic. I'm getting for some of you too. It's like some big bone of contention or some circular endless argument is going to be resolved this July, or there may be the opportunity to bring something to resolve, or you may just decide to walk away or put closure on something once and for all. Again, it's going to vary depending on who you are, but the energy fundamentally remains the same, as I always say. So we start around the first week or so of July 2017 with the energy of Judgment, followed by the Fool, my favorite tarot card. So Judgment is a major arcana card, and a pretty powerful one. I always feel like it's kind of a serious card. Judgment is a call to action, and it's major arcana, so divine timing and orchestration, energy of God, spirit, your angels and guides. So it's a pretty strong call to action. Something needs to be done. You need to take action. You can see that this archangel is blowing his horn, his trumpet, who is going to answer. But this is also a call to careful action. There is an air of finality about Judgment, meaning that what you choose to do or not, anything that you set in motion is going to be difficult, if not impossible, to come back from or reverse. It's going to set the stage for something for quite some time to come. So we don't want to be too spontaneous or impulsive. You want to carefully take a step back, carefully kind of consider anything. If you're considering making any decisions, particularly those which are going to have a significant impact, particularly ending something or resolving something, bringing something to a close, even if it's retirement energy or transitioning into something new, you need to be careful about how you do it. Consider everything out. Don't be impulsive or spontaneous. But this is it is a call to action. So start thinking about what you want to do as this is as whatever this is coming to a close into your new beginning. Because Judgment is paired with the Fool, which is a card of brand new beginnings, major beginnings. The Fool is about, actually, it can represent that infinite space in between something coming to an end before something starts, that place where you're kind of feeling the energy of the ending and feeling the potential of the beginning, and you're kind of thinking, what's possible? Anything's possible, everything's possible. It's kind of about that time frame where you're the breath before the first step of a new journey. The Fool is also about taking risks, stepping off the well-trodden path, maybe doing something you've never done before, trying something you've never tried before. The Fool is also here to remind us that the real joy and value of life is in the steps of the journey itself, not so much in reaching the destination of being so goal-oriented, which is always good and practical and wise to have. But the Fool knows that it's really about the lessons we learn on each step of the journey and enjoying each step of the journey too. Cautionary advice: we want to make sure there's water in the pool before we jump. The Fool often doesn't think about things like that, so it's about maintaining a balance here. And paired with Judgment, it's actually, your next card is Temperance, which is about balance. Excuse me. So ending June, going into the beginning of July, it looks like something is drawing to a close. For some of you, something is needing to draw to a close. It is time to take action, to make plans, but be moderate and temperate in how you do that. You want to make sure you pack enough socks for the journey and make sure there's water in the pool before you jump. So next to that, around the second week or so, that kind of contemplative energy continues. We have Temperance, major arcana card of Temperance, with the Seven of Cups. Now, for some of you, the temptation to, or perhaps your pattern is to not think ahead and plan so much, because I'm feeling a very strong message to be careful in doing so. So for those of you who perhaps maybe have a pattern or a tendency to have big endings and jump into new beginnings without having, thinking, planning, or having a bit of foresight, be vigilant against that. Be cautious, because there's a very strong message here about being balanced and moderate and temperate, which is what Temperance is. It's about the middle ground. It's about holding opposite extremes in unison and harmony, particularly mentally and emotionally. My favorite analogy for Temperance is to consider a seesaw or a teeter-totter. When you're at the outside ends, you're at the mercy of elements, your feelings, other people, the weather changes. But when you're in the middle, middle, even when the outside ends go up and down, you may wobble, but you're less likely to hold your balance because you've found that center. This is about finding your center, finding your grounding, knowing what you want, knowing what you need to do to get it, not getting diverted, distracted, led astray, not compromising or negotiating. You're grounded, you're centered, you're right in the middle. You have found your peace and that place of grounding. It's also about being moderate and temperate as well. No spontaneous or impulsive decisions here, especially significant decisions. Temperance is paired with the Seven of Cups, which can be a card of illusion, fantasy, distraction, not being reality grounded, or just considering multiple options, opportunities. Be careful about that. Make sure that if you're considering starting something new, particularly if it's starting a significant new chapter of your life, make sure that it's reality based, that it's grounded, that you've done your homework and research. Because the Seven of Cups represent, each one of these cups holds basically potential, all beautiful, all perfect, almost impossibly perfect and beautiful. So again, just make sure if you're considering, as something is drawing to a close, you're thinking of something new, make sure that it's feasible and practical according to your situation, whatever that is. For those of you that are considering bringing something to a close, again, you may be feeling like doing it rather hastily or spontaneously. We don't want to do that, or choosing an option which you may later regret because it's turned out to be, smoke and mirrors or a pipe dream. Again, very strong message here and weighing everything out carefully. And when you look at all the potential and possibilities, don't just think about the positives of what might happen. Think about everything that could possibly happen with each opportunity or each potential path before you make any significant decisions, particularly in a mental and emotional way. Cups is emotional. Cups is water energy. That's the element which governs the suit of cups. And in the tarot, this is that watery mercurial area of our life that deals with feelings, emotions, and relationships too, and how our emotional landscape leads us to decides our relationship patterns, how we relate to other people, all different kinds of relationships. So again, temperance, balance, no spontaneous, impulsive, or hasty decisions that we haven't thought out and kind of researched. Now, next to that, we're around the third week or so of July, more or less. We have the Five of Wands with the Five of Swords. So we've already gone into the elemental energy of wands, governed by fire. The Five of Wands can be a card of conflict, internal or external conflict, or a combination of both. It can also be a card of competition. Sometimes this can be a card of working with other people to improve and hone your skills, because these men are practicing, they're sparring for the purposes of improving their skills. It can sometimes represent sporting activities, but that is not what I'm getting here. And even in conflict, it's not like they're out for blood. They're practice weapons. They're not out to actually kill each other. In external conflict, or conflict with another person, other people, friends, in a workplace environment, for some of you, this might be a family. I am getting that for some of you, this is some kind of family dynamic, some major bone of contention in your family. You guys it always comes back to the same argument. It could be with one other person. Even though they're not out for blood, there's no resolution either. Nobody wins, nobody loses. In conflict, it's like the same argument going around and around and around. Nobody winning, nobody losing, but nothing getting resolved either. Now, it's paired with the Five of Swords, which is technically a card of victory. I say victory because sometimes it can represent a shallow victory or a cheap victory, or a victory which comes at the expense of other people or relationships. Sometimes in career readings, this comes up if you are trying to get ahead, or you succeed in getting ahead, but at the cost of kind of stepping on other people to do it. The question that always accompanies the Five of Swords is if something is worth it, and sometimes it is. This battle, this victory that this man has won, has obviously cost him a lot. Even though he's won, he's gathered up all his opponents' or enemies' swords, and he's holding his own in victory. But he's tired, worn out, exhausted. The colors are still kind of bleak. He's bleeding from a little cut on his forehead. This is a battle which has been hard won, hard fought, and it may have come at the cost of other relationships, or winning, if this is truly important, may come at the cost of separation or estrangement from somebody else. So just consider very carefully how you kind of operate in this, particularly if you're wanting this to come to a close, or if you're really focused on finding an ending to this. And if this is in regards to how to achieve an ending in order to start a new beginning, karmically, if you step on other people to do it, it may produce positive results for a while, but the universe always maintains equilibrium in the end, so it usually will come back around to you in some form or another. So just kind of be vigilant against that. But it looks like some kind of victory is achieved within or around a conflict, but I feel like it's a conflict with other people. Just be careful in how you go about doing it. Again, this cautionary advice about being moderate and temperate, particularly in your speech too, in your speech with other people. Now, at or towards the end of July 2017, we have the Eight of Wands, followed by the World. I wanted to say too, in the Five of Swords, although those of you that follow me regularly would know this already, swords, the element which governs swords is air. It's mental, cerebral, intellectual idea. It's all about words, ideas, and communication. How our communication is driven by what we think, how we look at things, our perspectives, and our belief systems. So the Five of Swords, in terms of victory too, this can represent, verbal victory in arguments. But again, it may come at the cost of doing it in a wrong way, or a way which doesn't really reflect your choice of, your own personal integrity and honor. It may be stuff that you say in the heat of the moment but later regret. So be vigilant against that, because I am getting kind of watch your speech, particularly in debates or arguments with other people. So we find ourselves around the end of the month or the beginning of August with the Eight of Wands and the World. So the Eight of Wands is a card of communication coming swiftly. Sometimes it can represent communication which is on its way but hasn't quite arrived yet, but it is coming, because these wands have left their point of origin, but they haven't quite reached their destination. So those of you who are waiting for communication, particularly final communication regarding the wrapping up of something and the start of something new, if you haven't received it by the end of July, it will be coming probably within the first week or two of August. It's communication going back and forth, fast, furious, and it does typically indicate positive communication, but impactful communication. And communication, I mean, we live in a very technologically savvy world today, so this can be not just phone or letters, this can be, email, text, etc. Now, it's accompanied by the World card, another major arcana card. This is a card of completion as well. And you have a few cards here which indicate that, endings and beginnings, but significant endings and beginnings. And I think for those of you, whatever it is that's coming to an end, whether it's a career path, whether you're retiring and you're starting something new, or you're considering transitioning into another job or career path, be careful. Make sure that what you're transitioning into, whatever new beginnings you may be considering, that they are really what they appear to be. But there is a lot of energy about endings. You have the Fool, which is about endings and beginnings, the Ten of Wands, which is about something drawing to a close, and something that, whether it started out that way or not, has really begun to feel like a burden. And the World card is a card of completion too. It's the last major arcana card in the tarot deck. The World is about reaching a milestone, a place of completion, a significant place of completion. My analogy for the World card is kind of like reaching the top of a mountain. You've finally reached it, you're at the pinnacle, and you've climbed a variety of mountains in your life, but this one holds particular significance. Again, a career path you've put a lot into, or a job you've been at for a long time, a relationship you've been in for a long time, maybe a circle of friends, a situation or a project you've been investing in for a long time. It's either come to a close, or it's reached a significant milestone where it's transitioning into something else, or you're transitioning out of it. It's about looking back down over the path and everything that you put into it, acknowledging everything that you put into it, looking at everything that you realized you were capable of, considering what you might yet be capable of moving forward into the future. So it looks like you're ending July 2017, going into August. I think a lot of you, this is a positive sense of accomplishment, of completion. Again, watch your personal interactions with people during the month of July, particularly any difficult verbal exchanges or conversations you have. Make sure that if there's a point that you want to win, or a point that you're really focused on winning, make sure that it's ask yourself how important it is. If winning comes at the expense of hurting other people or kind of stepping over other people, just kind of be conscious of your communications with other people during July, particularly verbal, well, all your communications really, because there may be a temptation to say and do things that you later regret. Again, that the whole first half of this reading is cautionary advice on being moderate and temperate and balanced, and again, with choices and options, making sure that they're all reality based. You don't just jump into something you later regret or something that turns out to be not what it was presented to be. So just be cautious about that. So Scorpio, that pretty much sums up your July 2017 general reading. I hope you have enjoyed it, that at least some of you have found it insightful, given you some food for thought. Again, if any of you are interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me, you haven't read with me before, you can click on the About or Description button for more information, and my email address, which is Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I would be most happy to work with you. I will see you all again within a week for the love snapshots for July, so keep an eye out for those. And then probably a week or so after that, I'll start putting the mid-month out. So until then, Scorpio, as always, I wish you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy life. And I hope to see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.